Hey, hello, and welcome to my front porch jam. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing better than whoever that's responding to outside there. So, but hey, you know, I live in an exciting neighborhood. There's always something going down. And, you know, so we'll see. Must be a fire somewhere. And tonight is cruise-in night here on the south side. So it's that also leads to a wild and crazy time. So you probably hear engines revving. You probably hear tires burning. The smell of burned rubber and fuel, gasoline, oil, cigarettes, you name it, is all wafting through the air outside. Probably vapes these days, though, some more so than cigarettes. But anyways, you can probably hear all kinds of excitement outside. If it wasn't dark outside, you could probably see some of it better. I tried to do this a little earlier in the evening, but didn't quite work out. And that's probably just for the best because it is still ungodly hot. And on my porch, you may have guessed with the windows all open, there's no AC out here. So, you know, it's certainly a tad on the warm side. So, you know, goodness, that made me jump a little bit. I think a car backfired, or exploded, but I think it was a backfire. I don't think it was an explosion, but anyways, all kinds of wild and crazy times out there going on for several more hours. It's a good time. Those of us that live here, we've kind of been there, done that, but it brings in a big crowd, a lot of food trucks, a lot of people lining the streets all up and down. Probably a good thing overall, you know, for business and commerce and everything. So, you know, that's definitely cool. And people seem to be enjoying it. I think this week, in all honesty, though, it does seem like it's tapered off a bit. I don't know if the hot weather or the time of year or what, but it's a little more low-key based on the observation from my front porch. You probably keep seeing me look out the window over here. I'm seeing what's going on, trying to get a count of cars and so on. But yeah, a lot of times it's just bumper to bumper packed the whole night. Tonight's a little more sparse, so it seems like it's a smaller crowd maybe. Anyways, hope you had an awesome Saturday. I did. Celebrated Nate's birthday today. Had a nice dinner with family at a beautiful Mexican restaurant. My favorite kind of food and my favorite food item on the menu, if you're curious, it's fajitas. Cannot beat that. I'm still stuffed from that. I did manage to eat almost all of them, though. And, you know, if you get a big order of steak fajitas, that's saying something. So, but anyways, did that and then come back home and enjoy a cold beverage in my brand new glass. You can see that I have now blue rather than etched glassware. Had etched vinyl before, now I have blue vinyl. Thought it would stand out a bit better, so I'd like to have our branding in place. So that's good. Enjoying a cold beverage. Gotta try and make sure I didn't mess my focus up when I did that. Sometimes my camera gets a little weird with focus sometimes. Very frustrating too when that happens and I don't catch it while I have to re-record something. Anyways, for tonight I thought we would take a look at Separate Ways by Journey. And you'll think, wow, okay, that's not really a song I would have thought as a Campfire front porch song. But it can be. And it translates decently. And then you probably also had a thought, well, man, I don't think you can sing like Steve Perry. Well, no, I'll be 2 octaves below and out of key and probably still struggling. But that's okay because this is here and here presented to you as how to play it. And you can take that and do with it what you will. And you can leave a comment of encouragement or a comment of discouragement on the video. But anyways, we'll play it. It's fun. I think it's really fun to play. There's only like really one tricky part, and I won't claim to be the best at playing it either, but I'll show you that in a second. But let's have a look at the chord chart. Okay, and when we look at that, what we have is pretty straightforward. So I set my drink down here. So when we go through that, we start out at the beginning, the right, that kind of thing, and then the next one goes into the first verse. So and then right after that, then right into the actual verse itself. Here we stand, worlds apart, hearts broken in two. 2, 2. So that's just E minor, D, C, and then E minor again, D, C. Okay, so that's all nice and easy, all right here on verse 1. Then the second phrasing on that verse goes to the G, D, A minor. So feeling that it's gone, can change your mind. And then back to the G, D, A minor again. If we can't go on, survive the tide of love. Well, I missed the chord there. Survive the tide of love divides. So you let the C ring out. So we can't go on, survive the tide of divides. Okay, so let that ring out. And then the one tricky part really is on the chorus. And so it starts out easy, E minor. Someday love will find you, then D. Break those chains that bind you, then C. One night will remind you, then A minor, how we touched. And there's a real tricky part. Instead of playing the D down here, I play it up here. So, and that's because I slide up to a D sharp minor. So when our separate ways. So when our separate ways. Then back to E minor. P, F. So how we touch them when our separate ways. If he ever hurt you. And right back to that, right? So there's that. Something that's not on the chord chart, so my apologies, but between the chorus and verse 2, it goes back to the. So gotta put that in there, and then it's troubled times, caught between confusion and pain, right? Okay. Then the only other couple of notes I have is it goes to the solo. The solo is just the chords from the chorus. And then at the end of the solo, it rings out the E minor. And then and it kind of builds on the B. And then stop, and then right back into the chorus. Someday love will find you. Break those chains that bind you. One night will remind you. And then on the how we touched and went our separate ways, he doesn't sing it here. So it's okay. And then on the outro, it's kind of the same thing. It's the same chord pattern, but it gets into the I still love you, girl. I really love you, girl. And then something like that. So, and then at the very end, the nose, and then it's no, and that has far more dramatic impact if Steve Perry's doing it instead of me. You might think you're just that close to Steve Perry, but probably a little further apart than that. You know, that's what I'm thinking. So anyways, let's go ahead and finish off this drink. Always like to check to make sure a bug doesn't fly in it. I don't have a lot of bugs on my porch, but I did see a gnat fly by a minute ago, so I always want to make sure I don't accidentally drink a gnat in my drink. Because one time, I had something very traumatic happen. Had a bug fly in a drink, and I did not know it. And much like this, I picked it up, took a big swig, and what it was that was in my glass was a gigantic moth. So I had to spit that out quickly. That was not good. I was traumatized. So now I check for bugs every time. The other thing, speaking of bugs, the other thing that traumatized me even more, I'll never forget. I was having a big bowl of cornflakes, and I was kind of reading the newspaper at the time, back when we had print newspaper. That tells you how long ago it was. And the paper was propped up, got a big bowl of cornflakes, poured milk in it, got the paper out, reading it, scooping up, eating, looked down, and it was filled with ants Most dead, some swimming, and I was there eating ants with my cereal, munching away. I don't know how many ants I ate, but several. I did not notice any flavor from those, and but I felt very sick afterwards. So I just thought I would share that little story about eating bugs. So don't eat bugs. So, all right, well, here we go. Let's go rock this out, and we'll come back with some song and artist facts. Here we go. Here we stand, woods apart, hearts broken in two. Sleepless nights, losing ground, I'm reaching for you. Feeling that it's gone, can change your mind if we can't go on. Survive the time of divide. Someday love will find you. there you go, in the interest of scholarship and goodwill. It's a fun song to play. I don't know that anybody's going to be mistaking me for Steve Perry anytime soon, but it's still fun. So, anyways, let's talk about some song and artist facts. All right, let's talk about a few song and artist facts. Now I've had a chance to refresh my drink. It feels like it's still kind of crazy outside right now, but all good. I'll tell you what, it is still very hot, just so you know. It is. I am surprised it'd be this hot at this time of night, but anyways, Separate Ways is a song performed by Journey, recorded for their Frontiers album and released as a single in January of 1983. I remember it well. It became one of the band's biggest hits, peaking at number 8 for 6 consecutive weeks on the Billboard Hot 100 chart, while also spending 4 weeks at number 1 on the Top Tracks chart. The song has maintained its popularity over the years, partly due to its prominent use in films Tron Legacy and Season 4 of Stranger Things. You may remember that closing scene on Stranger Things. That was pretty fantastic. They threw that in there. The song was written and composed during the band's 1982 Escape tour, at a time when some of the band members were experiencing personal turmoil, particularly due to painful divorces. Yeah, that's rough. Keyboardist Jonathan Cain and lead vocalist Steve Perry came up with the song during a difficult moment on tour, working through the pain in a hotel room with a Casio keyboard. So, there you go. Despite the emotional backdrop, the song was a hit when performed live. There's some uncertainty regarding the exact timing of his first live performance, though it was likely debuted in 1982. Guitarist Neil Schon said that even before the song was recorded, it had a powerful impact on the audience, recalling the strong reactions it evoked during the early performances. For sure, it does. I mean, it's definitely a song that has that quality to it, for sure. It's a very powerful song, in my opinion. Maybe my version may not be, but the original song for sure. Cain explains that the song came together organically, with both the music and lyrics being written very quickly. Perry and Cain worked out the melody on a bass and guitar, developing the full song by the next rehearsal. Schon has noted the song draws from the band's deep roots in R&B and blues, although it features a heavier guitar sound, making it distinctly Journey. And some of my notes shifted just a bit, so my apologies. I don't want to give anything less than quality here, but I was kind of sliding down that way. So anyways, that's okay. The rest of my notes are prominently displayed in front of me and should not be a problem. And somebody's lighting off a crazy amount of fireworks outside right now. I don't know if you can hear that or not. It's kind of off in the distance, so probably not so much, but my goodness. That is a full arsenal. Maybe that's an engine, but if that's a car engine, that's a very odd sounding car engine. I think that's fireworks, but that is a ton, like a skid of fireworks. It must be a fireworks factory caught on fire or something. So for the music video, if you haven't seen it, it's both amazing and hilarious because it is really the epitome of 80s music videos. I remember when it came out, and we thought it was cool. And if you watch it now, it's absolutely cringeworthy, but it has a certain coolness to it because of how it captures that moment in time. Because at that point in time, that was very cool. And the other thing about that was cool was that in those days, we didn't really get to, unless you went to concerts, you didn't really get to see the artists. I know that sounds crazy in this day and age, but back then you really didn't. So like a music video was big because you could actually see what they look like, see them together. Things that normally, prior to that, you rarely did. You might see them on TV shows once in a while, things like that, but that would be about it. So music videos were awesome. And so in the spirit of that, this video was awesome for its time. Now if you watch it, it's laugh out loud cringe for sure. But anyways, let's talk about the video. It was their first choreographed music video, a product of the early days of MTV when bands were starting to embrace music videos as a promotional tool. The video was filmed in New Orleans on a wharf near the Mississippi River. The cold, breezy weather made the shoot challenging for the band, especially for Steve Perry, who retreated to his camper to stay warm between takes. The video is infamous for scenes where the band pretends to play non-existent instruments, yes, air keyboards and air guitar and drums and so forth, although real instruments are also used. That is also intertwined within the footage. The production, featuring over 50 camera moves and choreography, was innovative but received mixed reviews. Complicating matters was the presence of Perry's girlfriend, Sherry Swafford, on the set. Swafford was reportedly jealous of the model, Margaret Olmsted, who appeared in the video, leading to tensions between her and Perry. Whoops. Despite these challenges, the video gained significant attention, though it has since become a source of amusement, even being mocked on MTV's Beavis and Butthead in the 1990s. Yeah, indeed it was, and those were classics, just saying. I know there's reruns of Beavis and Butthead and things like that, but the ones that are the full, mostly bootleg episodes you get where they actually have the music videos and are ripping on them and stuff, those are so hilarious, just saying. The actual part where they're not ripping on videos is still funny too, but so much of the hilarity was ripping on the videos. Anyways, I am still hearing all that noise out there like fireworks. That can't be fireworks after all this time, but I don't know what it is. Maybe a fireworks factory did catch on fire. The ambulance was zooming by. Wow, that is really something. I have no idea what's going on. I don't see anything, but I do hear sirens. So let's see. Where was I? I completely lost my train of thought. By 1999, it was ranked 13th on MTV's list of the 25 worst videos of all time. Jonathan Cain later admitted that the video's air keyboards and overall concept were regrettable. Yeah, they were, I suppose. Legacy and cultural impact. The song has had a lasting impact, being featured in various films and TV shows over the years. One of the most notable uses came in Stranger Things, where a remix of the song by Bryce Miller was included in the 4th season. Steve Perry, a fan of the show, approved of the remix and worked on an extended version with Miller. This version, featuring haunting elements, became a hit in its own right, appearing in key moments of the show and adding to the show's cultural resurgence. Overall, the song has been covered by other artists, including a 2023 version by Hailstorm's vocalist Lizzie Hale with Daltrey, which is actually a pretty cool version. If you haven't checked it out, you should. What began as a recording session turned into an impromptu music video, further solidifying the song's enduring appeal. Despite the mixed reviews of his video and tension surrounding its production, Separate Ways, Worlds Apart remains one of Journey's most iconic and beloved tracks. Its combination of rock, Motown-inspired rhythms, and emotional depth continues to resonate with audiences across the generations. Indeed it does. So, a little bit about Journey. Journey is an American rock band formed in San Francisco in 1973, featuring members from Santana, the Steve Miller Band, and I'll probably butcher this, Fremius Bandersnatch. As of 2024, the band includes Neil Schon, the last original member, Jonathan Cain, Jason Derlaka, Dean Castronavo, Todd Jensen, and lead vocalist Arnel Pineda, which has a fascinating backstory of his own, but at the time they were in search of a replacement vocalist. You probably know the story already. But essentially got on YouTube, started looking at Journey tribute bands, scoured the web, found him, brought him in, 2-day audition, nailed it, band loved him, rest is history. So, and it's very amazing vocalist in his own right for sure. He can nail all the Steve Perry parts and puts his own sort of spin on it. And the songs I've heard that they've done, they've been originals with him, although, you know, I'm not a huge fan of the music itself because I think they've kind of had their run, you know, when it comes to creating new music, but the vocals and stuff on it and everything are fantastic. So anyways, Journey's peak commercial success occurred between 1978 and 1987 with Steve Perry as the lead vocalist. During this period, they released iconic hits like Don't Stop Believin', which became the top-selling iTunes track among the pre-21st century songs in 2009. And that is always, forever and ever and all time, ever since The Sopranos. The only thing I ever think of when I see that show is the final scene of The Sopranos. So just throw that out there. If you know what I'm talking about, you probably feel the same way. The most successful album, Escape, in 1981, reached number 1 on the Billboard 200 featuring hits like Open Arms. The follow-up album Frontiers in 1983 also performed well, reaching number 2 in the US and expanding the band's popularity in the UK. Over the years, Journey has sold 52 million albums in the US and over 100 million worldwide, making him one of the best-selling bands of all time. They've achieved 25 gold and platinum albums and scored 19 top 40 singles in the US, 6 of which reached the top 10. Their 1988 greatest hits album is RIAA Diamond, certified with 18 times platinum sales. Wow. Originally a progressive rock band, the Journey transitioned to a more pop rock sound by 1978 with their 4th album, Infinity, earning them a reputation of one of America's most beloved and commercially successful rock bands. They were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2017 with key members including Steve Perry, Neil Schon, Jonathan Cain, and others. Journey remains a staple in rock music with their songs still widely played worldwide. Indeed. So, that's what I know about Journey. So I was checking something on my video over here. Sorry, I'm very unprofessional that I'd be checking settings on my video. Anyways, that's it for me. Go rock out. Remember, everything's linked in the show notes, so hopefully you enjoy that, and you can take a moment, go play it, go rock and roll, and be back next week with something new. So anyways, have a good afternoon, evening, morning, whenever you happen to be watching this, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.